Hello, everybody. I am Leslie from Brown Girls Embrace, and today I have Tracy Tucker with me from her own insurance company. And this is our third series of the summer series of the financial summer series about how we manage our money and the things we should do. And it's also Black Business Month. So, with that being said, let's get the conversation started. Hey, Stacy.
Hey, Leslie.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. It's good to see you in person instead of virtually.
Yes, it's nice
Yes.
to be in person.
Yes. So, anybody that in the comments, if you want to ask me questions, feel free, and we will pull them up on the screen. So, Stacy, with it being Black Business Month and it's August and it's almost over, how was your summer financially when it comes to business?
Well, when it comes to business, I'm very thankful. We've had a great year and we're continuing to have a great quarter. We're well into the third quarter now, so it's a good time to reevaluate goals and objectives. And I'm doing that with my team all the time, and I'm having a great summer.
That's good. That's good. So, I know you work with entrepreneurs
Mhm.
in this Black Business Month. What are the things you saw this summer?
So it is a thriving environment for people to start businesses, even as we move out of COVID, in a post-COVID environment, and corporations are asking employees to come back to work. Many people are still looking at their entrepreneurial opportunities. On the other hand, many have found that they still like the corporate environment, but many people are starting businesses. I know this because people often reach out to us and approach us and want small business insurance. So that helps us to see kind of in the marketplace how many new businesses are starting.
Okay. So, what advice would you give to people before we get into the other conversations? What it being Black Business Month, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs this month?
I would say to keep your foot on the pedal, keep your foot on the gas. There are times when you feel like you should give up. Sometimes, in harmony with the theme of this series, it's a financial wellness series. It helps us to think about ways that we can continue to thrive by growing our business through financial wellness mechanisms, such as the right borrowing mechanisms, doing so at rates that are optimal, I should say, hiring staff, making it so that your business runs with or without you, preferably without you, so that you can continue to live the life and the reasons that you started business in the first place.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask, you said with life insurance policies, you can help fund your business. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very common conversation in social media now, and I'm very happy about it in some ways that people who normally wouldn't have had access to this information, because most financial professionals are looking for people who have large sums of money, but it's not that the average person should have access to these tools. And so if you have cash value life insurance policies, you can use that to borrow against to finance your business. In our series 100, when we talked about ways you could start your business, you could use those tools. I did early in my business. I borrowed from those plans. Even in the later stages of my business, even almost to this day, when it comes to meeting payroll needs, that number can get pretty large. Sometimes I tap into those things as a source of funds.
Okay, that's good. And for those who missed you the last two seasons, go check it out. It's on my page. We talked about financial freedom, money. Can you tell a little people about your financial life story of what you went through, and how you got here today?
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. So I have been in banking since my late teenage years. I got into banking very early. And the question of whether entrepreneurs are born or made is that ever revolving question, right? But I believe we were entrepreneurs from a very early age. And so the idea of owning my own business was something that had a lot of appeal to me for many reasons, the same reasons it does for many other people. So about a decade and a half ago, I got into real estate, which was a very entrepreneurial endeavor. It's really, really sink or swim. You dropped in and you get to learn that business as an entrepreneur. And then in 2011, I opened my insurance agency, and that's an even bigger entrepreneurial endeavor where I have staff, I have commercial space, and a thriving business.
That's great. That's great. So I'm gonna get into some of these questions that people want to know that are commonly asked. One is, what's a supplement plan that are available if you're missing from your toolbox?
So most entrepreneurs, many have left their job, or their GGJ. I call it their good government job, or whatever they had before. When they do that, they leave behind very, very important benefits. Many people are actually held captive to their jobs because they say, oh, I can't leave because I need my benefits. what most entrepreneurs don't realize is you can get those things outside of a corporate job. You can get them on your own. Any financial organization like an insurance company, a bank usually can offer you disability plans, life insurance plans, supplemental plans that will pay. Let's say you're a business owner and you get disabled. Now you can't work, or now you have an emergency and you're admitted into the hospital. When you're the entrepreneur, business stop. That's it. So but the bills don't. So there are plans that you can engage that will pay you either a lump sum or a daily sum for those times that you're either not in the hospital, or plans that'll pay you a fixed monthly amount for a fixed period of time while you're disabled. So business owners have to really, when they go to shop for insurance for their business, it's not just for the liability and the professional liability, which is extremely important, but they also have to think about the benefits to their family.
Yeah, and that's true that you mentioned that. I know I'm a hairstylist, I'm an entrepreneur, I have a lot of things going on, but because it's so time consuming with the things that we're trying to build and grow, we forget like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen if I get sick? And where's the money going to come from? Because like if we don't work, we don't get paid. So that's not a lot of the things that entrepreneurs think about. I wasn't thinking about it until you get like to a high stature, like, okay, now I can, make money while I sleep, and then I can think about other things. But in the midst of it all, like anything can happen.
It's a trend I see often. So normally I'll get a phone call from someone who's starting a business and they have a contract that says you need to have general liability, workers' compensation, maybe an umbrella policy, business auto. Great. They never ask about, or I'll say rarely ask about those other things like the benefits that they left behind at their good government job. I usually will try to then encourage them to think about that. And I know when you're starting a business, you're thinking about every single dollar. Maybe you haven't even started the contract yet. Maybe you haven't finished manufactured the product yet. Maybe you haven't built a sufficient client list to even be regularly bringing in the income. But what if something happens, as you just said, especially people who work with their hands, even if it's an intelligence business like consultants, if you're sick and can't work, then you need to have something in place to cover those things.
Like you said, COVID happened. And that, and I know some people were out for a while and some people haven't been the same since if they had it. And it's just a lot of things. What are you going to leave behind for your family? Because as an entrepreneur, what are we putting into ourselves if we don't have a W-2? So I think that's great to invest in. But the next question is talking about disability. What about disability and long-term care are available?
Yes. And I'm glad you're bringing these things up because typically entrepreneurs don't think of these things. Most people think the only way they can get these things is through a corporate job. And it's just not the case. And so I often say to entrepreneurs, you make a product. Yeah. If your children or your siblings or your spouse doesn't know how to make that product, then if you walk off the planet or if you're unable to continue to make that product, the income you earn from it has just stopped. And so there are things that you can and should put in place to make sure that can continue to happen. Like I feel like we as business owners, we work really hard and strive for success, but we often fail to think about succession. So what happens next? We don't have a succession plan. We don't have a strategy to exit our business, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. And so that's the conversation I think we all should start having as business owners.
Yeah. And I think to go back to what you said, I think a lot of older school people, like I'm in the millennial range, they feel like, oh, if you don't have a 9-to-5 job, where the benefits going to come from? And they don't, I say they don't know, they don't have the knowledge, but you can be a successful entrepreneur if you know how to do it the right way. And it is trying to change that mindset of how things was back in the day when you had to get that 9-to-5, get the benefits taken out. There's just other ways you have to be smart. And with the way that technology is today, with YouTube and social media and Google, like, we given so much resources, we just have to take out the time, sit down and do our research. And if you can't do it, you can make somebody do it.
And you've been doing a good job of that, Leslie. I've noticed, you send me some good insightful things I see you shared on your page with others. So the next level of that is while you're gathering that information, the term financial literacy is very common. I like to take that another level to financial intelligence, because literacy just means we can read the words. We know what they mean. But then how do we apply it to ourselves individually? Each business is unique. Some are solopreneurs, some have 15 employees, some have 50, some do hair, some do makeup, some make products, some consult on defense. Whatever that situation is, they're very different businesses and entities. You need a professional that you can align yourself with that properly maps out a plan for you and your business to get you and your family to where you intended it to be.
Yeah. And I have a personal question. So I'm a hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
I have my product line,
Mm-hmm.
and I also have a podcast I'm investing more time in. What advice would you give me at the insurance? Because I have like all of these different businesses under one umbrella.
I'm glad you brought that up. If the businesses are the same, then it's no issue. Like having a salon that also has salon products, beauty products, skincare, those make sense. Policies are typically bundled together to meet the needs of a specific business.
Gotcha.
So if it says bakery policy, it knows that what kind of goods and services are presented in that business. Having a podcast, writing a book is a very common mechanism that business owners are using to promote their business. And if it's the same business, that's fine. But if they're very distinct lines of business, the risks are very, very different. And so you need to make sure that you have the professional coverage versus just the general coverage.
Okay. So what's the difference between, can you give us like a hard definition between business insurance and life insurance?
Sure. Business insurance protects the specific entity. Brown Girls Embrace LLC, right? That's an entity that's separate from you, Leslie. And so business insurance generally involves a component, just like your cars, it's liability. That's the base that protects you from if somebody sues you or comes after you for all that hard work that you've done. The professional level of that is the one that's specific to your industry. Realtors have errors and omissions. Doctors have malpractice. Hair salons have errors and omissions against the things that are common in your business. Life insurance is a way that you can use as a business tool to ensure the business can have a succession plan. You can insure a key person in the business through a life insurance product that would allow that if a key person in the business walked off the planet, the business operations don't have to stop. It would pay to either recruit a new person and pay out. Maybe if the business wants to close, they can, because the proceeds from that policy will go to the person who's indemnified.
Great, good information. So that was the business. What about the life?
So the life insurance, there's various names for it. So, and rather than say specific types, but key person is a life insurance policy. I think a lot of people don't realize that. So when you say key man insurance or key person or buy-sell agreements that you can use in your business, they are done through a life insurance policy so that business owners or partners can continue the business if one of the others cannot.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. So it is a few people in the chat, and please, please, please join the conversation. Ask, and I'll put your questions on the screen. We want you to ask questions if you have it while we're here. But anyway, with you being an entrepreneur in the insurance industry, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs? Would it be in Black Business Month, and we're almost halfway through the year? What would you give?
As I said earlier, don't stop, even when times seem difficult. And it seems like maybe you have a month where business isn't quite where you want it to be. Keep going. Even if you have to kind of divert a little bit, you can do that. I know many business owners I did it many times in my career. I went back to work at corporate, because sometimes your corporate job is, yes, you've heard me say that on other version of the podcast, can be the financing you need for your business. That's okay. I recently talked to an entrepreneur who's actually closing her business.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but she's doing something else. So it's not like she stopped being an entrepreneur. She's just closing that particular business, one that she had for quite some time, over 10 years. And so that's the recommendation I would have. And you brought up a point. Continue to educate yourself on what resources are available in terms of protecting your business. And think of yourself as a big business the way other corporations and entities do. You are all of it. So your HR, your operations, your marketing, your branding. So you have to be all of those things until you have someone doing those things. So protect yourself the way other organizations do.
Yeah. I don't know if this is related to insurance, but maybe just like patent, when you patent your stuff. Is that a part of insurance?
It is a form of insurance. It's not an insurance policy, but a patent is something that protects your ability to earn money from work that you've already done.
Okay, so let me tell you this experience. I just started my shea butter line, and people like it. I was very surprised that I got the response from it. But somebody asked me to put my products in their store, and they said, "I want you to make it, but take off your label and put my label on." And I'm just like, okay, that's when I ran and got the LOC. But it's like, okay, do I need something else besides the LOC? Because she just wanted that's something that I made myself. She wanted to put her label on it so she can sell it in her store. So what advice would you give for that?
So that's a compliment, actually. That's like a licensing deal almost. Like you can charge a fee for that, for her putting you make the product, and then they can put their own label on it. You've got like a little manufacturing business. So that's what you're talking about, all these multiple different lines of business. So you're right. You have to insure that business a little bit differently, but that's great when you have a product that's in demand that somebody wants to market it under their own name.
Okay, so that's not under any type of life insurance.
No, that's just more of a marketing branding play. You need, to determine how do you want to monetize that.
Okay,
it's fine. We can do branding.
What if somebody wants to invest in your business, but they want a percentage? That means they want a percentage, right?
Normally, that's what investors do. Now, if it's somebody giving you a loan, that's different. You can go to the bank and borrow money. They don't end up owning a portion of your business. But an investor says, okay, you're a thriving business and you come to them for an investment. We want 5% of your business, or 10% or 20%, meaning from now on, when you make profits or some agreed upon time in the future, they will get some percentage of that business.
Nice. So we are going to wrap up this conversation. Anything else you want to share? And the last question I want to ask you, what do you enjoy most about being a life insurance agent?
Anyone who's listened to me on your show or any other ones, or seeing my content on my social media pages, I'm very interested in legacy, leaving a legacy. And there's so many ways to do that. Most of us haven't spent the time building up what it takes to do that. And so life insurance is a very easy way to put a small investment in that turns into something so much larger than we could probably be in our years, or the remaining years when we started planning for this. So that's the part I love about that's the part I love most, protecting families' legacies.
Nice. Well, I enjoyed this summer series with you. Did you?
I certainly did. I did.
That's good. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We know it was last minute, but I'm happy we were able to do it today. If you're watching the replay, feel free to leave a comment in the chat. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, check out my products, Embrace by Leslie Ann, self-care products, hair products, and body butters. They are on my Instagram. Stacey, where can everybody find you?
Everyone can find me in the same places as you on Instagram. I'm at Stacey Insures Me. Facebook, Stacey Insures Me 1. Twitter, Stacey Insures Me, and I'm also on LinkedIn as Stacey Tucker.
Yes. Do you have any upcoming events coming up?
So it's always been a passion of mine to support other entrepreneurs. So we're going to have an event, no dates and times yet. Stand by. I will make sure you get dates and time. We'll have a client, like a business soiree, where we can have conversations like this and help people achieve their goals.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, I'll be right beside you, helping you.
Excellent.
Whatever you need help, just let me know.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Have a good night. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.